Kim Dokja is an ordinary office worker living a monotonous and unremarkable life in Seoul. He works a 9-to-5 job at a large corporation, blending into the background and often feeling invisible to his colleagues. His only escape from his mundane existence is reading web novels on his phone during his commute. For over a decade, he has been engrossed in a particular web novel, 3 Ways to Survive in a Ruined World, TWSA, written by an anonymous author known as TLS 123. The novel, with its complex plot and well-developed characters, has been Kim Dokja's solace and his only constant companion. The story begins with Kim Dokja on a crowded train reading the final chapter of TWSA. He is filled with anticipation and a bittersweet sense of closure. As he reads, he becomes completely absorbed in the narrative, where the protagonist, Yoo Jung-hyuk, faces the climactic battle in a desolate, monster-infested world. The vivid descriptions and intense action scenes captivate Kim Dokja, making him feel as if he is right there beside Yoo Jung-hyuk, fighting for survival. He notices Yoo Sang-ga from the HR team. She sits down as they talk. Yoo Sang-ga informs Kim Dokja that she is leaving early because her manager is on a business trip. Kim Dokja inquires as to why she is taking the subway, as he has heard tales that Yoo Sang-ga is driven home by corporate guys every day. However, she claims that the bicycle she normally rides home was taken. Kim Dokja admits in his thoughts that Yoo Sang-ga is certainly very attractive and that he understands why men are so fond of her. However, he goes on to say that it is none of his business because her life is of a different genre from his. Yoo Sang-ga's assumption is reinforced when he starts studying Spanish. She inquires as to what Kim Dokja is doing. They discuss their favored reading materials, with Yoo Sang-ga disclosing that she enjoys novels, particularly those by Murakami Haruki, Raymond Carver, and Han Kang. He quickly changes the subject, discussing how quickly time has passed since the two of them joined the organization. It is revealed that, while Kim Dokja's contract will shortly expire, Yoo Sang-ga has been hired full-time. Kim Dokja congratulates her and makes a joke about how he should have studied languages. He ruminates briefly, glancing at a toddler sitting opposite from him on the subway, wondering if his life would have been different if the genre had been different. When Yoo Sang-ga offers him the app she uses, he declines, telling her that he is to live the Dokja life, which means he would continue on his own road as he has so far. Yoo Sang-ga replies that she too will live Sang-ga's life. Their chat ends, and they return to their various interests. Kim Dokja receives an email from TLS 123 alerting him that Ways of Survival would be monetized at 7 p.m. The email includes an attached file. However, to his surprise, the novel has been completely erased from the app. The subway car's lights suddenly turn off, and the train shakes violently. The passengers explode in turmoil, and Yoo Sang-ga seems slightly concerned. Kim Dokja assures her that there must have been an accident or suicide on the tracks, and that the train will continue soon. However, instead of apologizing, the subway engineer's announcement begs all passengers to run and is cut short shortly thereafter. Drumming noises signal the arrival of an unknown monster. Kim Dokja notices the clock and realizes it is 7 p.m. Shortly thereafter, a disembodied voice announces that the free service of Planetary System 8612 has been stopped and that the main storyline has begun. The lights return, and the door of the train vehicle opens, exposing a figure in the entryway dressed in a straw mat. Reenacting the scene that Kim Dokja remembered from Ways of Survival, Yoo Sang-ga refers to it as a dokebi. The dokebi makes an attempt to talk, but its words are jumbled and follow the exact same pattern as described in Ways of Survival. Kim Dokja notices that the world he lives in is starting to resemble the scenario of Ways of Survival. Yoo Sang-ga, meantime, is dissuaded from speaking to the dokebi after hearing its garbled utterances, which sound like Spanish. Kim Dokja intervenes. After clearing his throat, the dokebi makes sure that everyone in the metro can hear him. When an unidentified actor approaches and asks what's going on, he explains that he is running late for an audition. The Dokaebi chuckles and tells the passengers to just listen. They start to yell in retaliation, but Yu Sanga is warned by Kim Dokja to keep quiet and remain back. The Dokaebi, enraged by the disturbance, utilizes its abilities to blow holes in the heads of individuals who are creating noise, instantly eliminating them. The passengers are once more instructed to remain silent and pay attention to it. It's time to start paying the price, the Dokaebi tells everyone. They have been living life on the cheap for far too long. In response to this statement, a passenger raises his hand and offers money to the Dokaebi. Kim Dokja and Yu Sanga recognize him as a co-worker, department head Han Myungo from the finance team. Han Myungo offers large amounts of money to the Dokaebi. However, it burns the money, saying that paper is worthless in the macrocosm world. The Dokaebi opens up its channel and initiates the first main scenario, which requires individuals to kill another living creature in order to survive. The Dokaebi then wishes everyone good luck and disappears. Following the Dokaebi's evacuation, subway commuters are in a state of terror. Many of them, including Yu Sanga, try to contact the police and are alarmed by the lack of reaction. Kim Dokja calms Yu Sanga by explaining that the scenario is similar to the survival games made by their company. He then instructs her to do as he says and urges her to remain still. Kim Dokja glances around the subway vehicle and recalls the descriptions of the first scenario in Ways of Survival. He understands that, as he suspected, Ways of Survival has become a reality. At that point, a man walks up and asks everyone to remain calm, claiming that he will take care of the situation. At the passengers' mistrust, he reveals himself to be an army lieutenant and assures them that he has received a communication from his regiment proclaiming the situation a national calamity. At this point, everyone is watching the speech video on their phones, with Yu Sanga showing Kim Dokja the speech on her own phone. The video begins exactly as Kim Dokja recalls it from Ways of Survival, with the Prime Minister saying that terrorists were operating in many regions, including Seoul. The passengers debate why the Prime Minister is giving the address instead of the President. One person claims it is because the President has already died, which Kim Dokja knows is true. Suddenly, everyone watching the video is startled by a gunshot, and the Prime Minister's skull explodes. Several others are slaughtered off-screen before a Dokaebi arrives and informs the audience that this is not a game or simple terrorism. The Dokaebi makes the game more challenging because South Koreans are skilled at it. A countdown appears in the air, the scenario time limit is reduced by 10 minutes, and a message warns everyone that if no one dies in the subway car within the next 5 minutes, everyone in the car will be killed. Lee Hyun-sung tries in vain to soothe the increasingly terrified passengers, while Kim Dokja watches from the sidelines, wondering why he hasn't appeared if other fictional characters have. When someone is killed in car 3907, passengers attempt to block the door so that the killer cannot enter their own vehicle, but are sent back due to the scenario's shutting of all exits. The Dokaebi running the scenario is delighted by the scenario's growth, claiming that some areas have been fun, while others have not. It offers to show everyone what happens if there is no killing in the following 5 minutes. A screen appears, displaying a classroom from what a boy on the train recognizes as Daepong Girls High School. When the time limit is reached, a message announces that paid settlement will commence, and the girls in the classroom start screaming as their brains explode. They try to leave the classroom but are all killed one by one. Eventually, one of the females strangles her buddy, leaving her the only one alive in the classroom. Message declares her to be Lee Ji-hye, the only survivor of Class 2B. At the end of the video, individuals in the train vehicle began to move away from each other in fear, with Yu Sanga releasing Kim Dokja's arm. With his hands free, Kim Dokja examines his smartphone, hoping to find a means to review Ways of Survival in order to verify the first events. When he sees the notification of TLS 123's email and its loan attachment, he understands in surprise what it must be and opens the email to see the attached, a single file, entitled 3 Ways to Survive in a Ruined World.txt. Kim Dokja laughs in disbelief as he learns the TXT file he received from TLS-123 is probably certainly a duplicate of Ways of Survival. He receives a personal attribute and a skill, but neither of their names are revealed. To find out what his attribute is, he seeks to enter the attributes window. However, the system warns him that he cannot access his attributes window. After being perplexed by this inaccuracy for a few moments, he decides to study Ways of Survival in the hopes of better understanding his circumstance. His undiscovered ability boosts his reading speed, and he discovers a key section near the opening of the first act that reveals that the novel's original protagonist was in subway car 3707. An elderly woman is being tormented by a young guy Kim Dokja identifies as Kim Nam-woon, one of the survivors of carriage 3807, alongside Lee Hyun. Kim Dokja remains mute, while Yu Sanga stands, ready to interrupt them. Kim Dokja stops her and forces her to sit down before preparing to intervene. He waits until a tremendous explosion shakes the carriage and pushes people over before moving through it and grabbing an insect collecting net from a child on the train. He offers the child one of the grasshoppers from the net before moving to the front of the carriage. There, he warns everyone that killing the elderly lady is not the way out, because they will all need a kill to their name, which means they will have to keep killing others. Kim Nam-woon tries to soothe the terrified passengers by assuring them that killing more is acceptable. Kim Dokja interrupts him, stating that there is another way to resolve the situation. He tells everyone that the clear criteria was to murder a living creature, not a person. He removes one of the grasshoppers and smashes it himself, obtaining the first kill achievement. Then he throws the net towards the opposite end of the wagon, allowing the grasshoppers to escape. Kim Nam-woon admires Kim Dokja's rapid thinking and invites him to join him. However, Kim Dokja declines since he knows Kim Nam-woon's personality from Ways of Survival. Kim Dokja tries to redirect him to the insects, but Kim Nam-woon reminds out that he already has someone he can easily kill right in front of him. Kim Dokja refuses to move, and Kim Nam-woon understands he planned to save the old lady from the start. He develops a hatred for Kim Dokja and strikes him with punches using the skill Blackening. However, Kim Dokja avoids him by utilizing Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, which allows him to read Kim Nam-woon's motions. Kim Nam-woon, frustrated as time runs out, pulls out a MacGyver knife and stabs Kim Dokja in the shoulder. Kim Dokja asks Kim Nam-woon if insect eggs are living entities. Then he pulls out the grasshopper he killed and destroys its egg sac, earning hundreds of coins as the eggs within die. Kim Nam-woon assaults him again, but Kim Dokja puts his newly won money into his constitution stat, increasing his durability such that Kim Nam-woon's knife cannot penetrate his flesh. As time runs out, Kim Nam-woon becomes increasingly desperate, leaving a small cut on Kim Dokja's throat and scratches all over his body. Kim Nam-woon stops striking after 30 seconds and falls to his knees, imploring Kim Dokja to save him. He denies, and in despair, Kim Nam-woon unleashes one more attack. Time runs out before he can stab Kim Dokja, and his brain explodes as the cash settlement begins. Kim Dokja watches as several passengers on the carriage die. The system notifies him that he has killed 1 grasshopper and 123 eggs, and it totals his cash for him. He earns the Mass Murderer achievement due to his high death count.
Sorry, it's DJ.